So the two big film concepts you're going to learn about in the upcoming videos are shots and editing. So in terms of talking about shots, I think it's useful here to think of literally what that used to mean. Basically, film would be recorded one image at a time on these strips of film. And therefore, a shot is a series of those frames, a series of those images that, when run through a projector, creates the illusion of movement. And this little strip is the building block of film, right? You have all of these different shots, these little, 5-10 second bits where a character does something. You put them all together, and you get a film. And basically, what you do when you make a film is you record a bunch of different shots and then you stitch them together to tell a story. And that process of stitching, of taking all these different building blocks and different pieces and putting them together into one long big film strip, is called editing. I mean, it literally used to be one long big film strip. They'd have all these little pieces and they'd have to adhere them together. And so I want you to think about different ways of creating shots, right, of these short 5-10 second building blocks of a film. And I want us to think about different forms of editing, how we put those different pieces together, and that's what we're going to learn about today. The first little video clip we're going to watch is going to focus on different kinds of shots. Now, I want to be clear, the thing you're about to watch, I did not create. It's a YouTuber named Sarish Sudekran who put all of this together, and I'm giving you a truncated version of what he created, but certainly if you want to watch the full thing, there's a link in the description field of this video to see the full thing, and certainly do. I'm not trying to cannibalize his stuff or steal his stuff. I'm just, using it here so you have everything in one place, but I definitely want to cite my sources because he did a really good job. Anyway, enjoy, and there is a PDF that I gave you on Compass, and it has a list of all these shots, and so I encourage you to be looking at that PDF as you watch, or at least have it handy afterwards, because I think that will be useful for keeping track of all the vocabulary that you are being given. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Sarish Sudekran, and in this video I'll go over 15 important shots that you should be aware of as a filmmaker. Let's begin with shot sizes. Probably the most important shot size ever is the close-up. You use a close-up when you want to fill the frame with a face. You might want to do that because you want to draw attention to the expression on the face. So facial features are more important than anything else at that moment. A variation of the close-up is the extreme close-up, where you probably chop off the top or bottom of the face to get even closer. In the other extreme, you have the long shot. The long shot shows the entire body of the subject, and you also get a sense of the location. Another reason why you might want to use a long shot is if you want to cover action. If somebody's running or fighting, you might want to see the entire body in motion. At the extreme, you have an extreme long shot in which the subject is even smaller relative to the frame. You might want to use that to make the subject look small in relation to their surroundings. In between these two shots, you have the medium shot, which is roughly half of a person. You use this shot when the person is either holding something or using something, or if body language is still important but the person doesn't have to be mobile. Another way to distinguish between shot sizes is by the number of people in the shot. If you have one person, you can call it a single shot or a solo shot. If you have two, you call it a two shot. Three would be a three shot, and so on. The last is a point of view shot, where the camera points to whatever the character is looking at, so you want the audience to feel as if they were that person. So I've clubbed these 5 shots under shot size, but you can combine them. You can combine a 2 shot with a close-up or a medium shot, and so on. The next important category is the camera angle. The most basic and simple camera angle is eye level, where the camera points straight ahead, and you typically use this to remain objective. You're not trying to manipulate the situation. When you want to manipulate the situation using camera angles, you can either go to a low angle, where the camera points up from a lower angle, and you use that to make the subject appear bigger or more dominating. On the other hand, you use a higher angle, where the camera points down from a high angle, and it makes the subject look diminutive and weak. Now, this is not etched in stone. You can break the rules here. An extreme case of the high angle will be a top angle or bird's eye view. So this is a special case where you want to show the topography of a location. Aerial shots are an extreme example of this as well. Next up, you have the Dutch angle or tilted shot, where your camera is not really level. An important use of this kind of shot is to draw attention to the fact that it's not a balanced frame, so something is literally off kilter. The last of the camera angles is the over-the-shoulder shot. Now, this is not strictly an angle, but it's a specialized shot that deserves its own place. Typically, an over-the-shoulder shot is confrontational by nature, so you have one person facing off with the other person. The last category is motion. The simplest type of motion is if you pan or tilt. That's when the camera stays in one place and it goes left or right as if you're observing a tennis match. The importance of this is the audience should feel like they are a spectator watching something objectively from a distance. If you want to move with the subject, you can either use a tracking shot, a crane, or a dolly. A tracking shot moves sideways, either left or right. A dolly moves front or back. And a crane goes up or down. They're all variations of the same kind of motion. They can be linear or they can be slightly curved, but the basic idea is you want to follow the action or follow the subject, and you want the audience to be more involved with the space and location. A variation of the dolly shot where you want to move in or move out, but you don't want to enter or leave the space, you use a zoom lens. Here you just want to get closer without making an emotional statement. The next type of motion is random motion, where the camera just shakes around a certain point in a random manner. This is typically used to provide motion or energy to a shot to make it come alive. Some people find it distracting, some people find it energetic.
All right, so to help drive home this information, I'm going to have you watch a little clip from a 1920s silent film called The Crowd. And at various points in the video, I've superimposed some words that are kind of pointing you towards certain things, and it's asking like, what kind of shot is this? What kind of movement is this? And so forth. And basically, to get to that clip, in the description of this YouTube video, you could get to that clip. And then in the description of that video is a link to a little quiz that you'll do. And, you know, the quiz, I'm not testing you. You won't, you know, basically, as long as you complete the quiz, you'll get full credit. The point isn't to stress too much about getting everything right, but just to go through the process of trying to identify these shots. Cool. All right. Thanks so much.